Today's date is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020, and this will be your last math lesson of your first grade year. Before we get to our lesson, let's look at our calendar, guys. We haven't looked at our calendar in a little while. Look at that. It's almost full, isn't it? You know what that means. It means we're almost to the end of the month, aren't we? So here was Memorial Day on Monday. That was your day off to remember people who have given their lives for our country. And then today is Wednesday, the 27th. And then in 2 more days, on Friday, it is the 29th, our last day of school. And then how many days are in the month of May? If you're thinking 31, you are right. May is one of the months that has 31 days. And so Sunday will be the last day of May. And June begins on Monday, guys. And that will be your first week of summer. So you are almost there. So exciting. Thank you, Lord. All right. So let's begin today's lesson. We are going to talk about quarters today, okay? You know what quarters are. You recognize them, but we're going to practice counting them today. All right, but I want to ask you some questions here. You know what that is. Here I have $1, right? Well, and I have 1 quarter. Let me ask you, if I offered you either the dollar or the quarter, which one would you take? You're probably thinking the dollar, right? That makes sense. What if I put 2 quarters? Which one would you take then? The dollar or the quarters? Okay, maybe you're still thinking the dollar, maybe you're thinking the quarters. I wish I had you here so you could answer my questions and I could know what you are thinking, but I'm just going to have to imagine what you may be thinking. So here we go. I'm going to add another quarter. What if I offered you 3 quarters or the dollar? Which one would you take then? Okay. Now you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another quarter. So here you have $1. Here you have 4 quarters. Which one would you want? Which one would you prefer? Okay. Oh, I sure wish you could tell me why. All right, now I'm going to add another quarter there. Now, which one would you want? $1 or 5 quarters? Now, some of you may be thinking, well, coins are worth less than $1, so I would just prefer the dollar. But guess what, guys? These quarters, they're worth a lot because you've done a lot of work with nickels and pennies and dimes, and they do add up. But a nickel is worth how many cents? It's worth 25 cents, isn't it? And so these quarters add up rather quickly. So if you have 5 quarters, guess what? It actually equals more than $1. 5 quarters is $1.25. So if you wanted to choose which one would be worth more, you would actually choose the pile of quarters. Okay, maybe you already knew that. Maybe you didn't. Let's talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so we know, well, first of all, you know that this is $1, right? Okay, but then how many quarters equal $1? Okay, 4 quarters equal $1. 25, 50, 75, 100, because they are each worth 25 cents. And here's how we count by 25s to 100. Count with me. 25, 50, 75, 100. And 100 cents is the same as $1, isn't it? Because that is what $1 is worth. 100 cents. That could be 100 pennies. It could be 10 dimes. Or look at this. It's only 4 quarters. 4 quarters are the same as $1 because they're worth 25 cents each. So 4 quarters does also equal $1. Okay? All right, when we say a quarter, it actually means 1/4. Okay, it's kind of like, guys, in time. Okay, it's funny how we can sort of go back and forth between the clock and money because we have these same concepts. Remember the clock, right? And the clock is divided into what we call 4 quarters. Because when it's 15 minutes past an hour, we say that it is a quarter past. Or if it's 45 minutes past the hour, we say that it is a quarter till the next hour. Why? Because it's kind of like you can divide a clock into 4 quarters. Well, it's the same thing with $1. You can divide $1 into 4 quarters. This thing I have here is basically, if we divided this into 4 parts, okay, each part is worth 25 cents, right? Because we just said that 4 quarters equals $1. So this just helps us to visualize what is going on here. So each quarter is worth 25 cents. So it's kind of like each of these makes up $1. And that's why we call it a quarter, because it's kind of like a fourth. 1 part out of 4 is 25 cents, okay? Well, if 1 part out of 4 is 25 cents, what would 2 parts out of 4 be? What's 25 plus 25? Well, if you don't know, 25 plus 25 equals 5 plus 5 is 10, 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 2 is 5. 25 plus 25 equals 50. So 2 parts of $1 equals how much? 50 cents. 25 plus 25. Well, what would 3/4 of $1 be? Well, of course, that's going to be 25 plus 25 plus 25. Do you remember when we counted just a minute ago by 25s? You may remember, you may already know what 50 plus 25 is, but let me show you. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. What is 3/4 of $1? It's 75. Okay? And then, of course, what is 4/4 or 1/2 of $1? Well, 75 plus 25 is 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 2 is what? It's 10. So we have 100 cents. And as we learned last week, we can take that 100 cents and turn it into $1, right, guys? Okay? And so 4 parts, 4 quarters, 4/4 make $1 because you have 25, 50, 75, 100, or $1. Okay? All right, so now that I hope you're kind of visualizing, okay, that's what that $1 is worth. 4 quarters makes $1. 25, 50, 75, 100. Okay, but can it go higher than that? Yes, it can. We can have lots of quarters. Okay, and we can keep counting by 25. So I'm going to move these up here. You know what? We're going to count by 25s all the way to 300. Okay, we've already counted by 25s to 100. Let's count by 25s to 300. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom here and we're going to work our way up. So we're going to start with the first one. That's like we have 1/4. Okay, so count with me. Here we go. 25, 50, 75, 100. Okay, if we were doing this in cents, that would be our first dollar, but let's keep going. What if we have 25 more? Well, it would be 125, 150, 175, 200. And that would be the same as how many dollars? $2. Okay, so see how we're just repeating these same numbers over and over again. 25, 50, 75, 100. 25, 50, 75, 100. We're just getting larger. We have $2. All right, I'm going to go over here and keep going. So now we have 225, 250, 275, and what's the next number? 300, right? And if this were cents, once again, this would be $3. Okay, and we could keep going on and on and on to infinity, counting by 25s, and we would just keep repeating these numbers: 25, 50, 75, 100. Okay, all right, good job. So when you're just playing, or if you're doing something, playing with some Legos or something like that, you could just practice counting by 25s. 25, 50, 75, 100. Okay, all right, very quickly is let's just look at some quarters here and see how much money it would be worth. And we're just going to practice that counting by 25. So I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, here I have 10 quarters. Okay, you know what, I'm going to move those down here, put these down here. So let's count and see how much money is 10 quarters. Here we go. 25, 50, 75, $1. $1.25, $1.50, $1.75, $2. $2.25, $2.50. Okay, so 10 quarters equals, remember how we do our dollar sign? $2.50. And look, here's a quick way to figure that out, guys. How many quarters make a dollar? 4. So there is $1. There's another dollar. Oh, I have $2. And then how much do I have left? $25.50. Isn't that a fast way to figure that out? $2.50. Okay, I'm going to take away a couple quarters here. Let's do this many. So what if I only have 7? Okay, here I have 7 quarters. Well, we could count out each one by 25s, couldn't we? You could also look at that and say, oh, look, I see 4 quarters. What does that equal? It equals $1. And does this make a dollar? No, it doesn't. It's only 3. Those are your 3 quarters of the dollar. Don't have that last quarter, do you? So this isn't going to be a full dollar. How much is it? Let's count. 25, 50, 75. How much money do we have here? We have $1.75. 7 quarters equals $1.75. Okay, all right, I'm going to take 2 quarters away. How much money would this be? I hope you're kind of getting the knack of this, especially how easy it is to group that dollar together. How much money is 5 quarters? Do you see the dollar? Yep, there you go. There's your 4 quarters. So we know we have $1. And then how much do we have left over? $1.25. Very good. 5 quarters equals $1.25. Okay, and what if I took 2 quarters away? Now, do we have $1? We don't, do we? Because remember, it takes 4 quarters to make $1. We don't have 4 quarters here. How many do we have? We have 3, 25, 50, 75. How would we write that using dollars? Now, we could write 75 cents, right? And that would be completely correct because this is 75 cents. It doesn't equal a dollar. How would we write it using a dollar sign? Do you remember? Do we have dollars? No. We put our decimal, $0, decimal. How many cents do we have? 75. And that is the two ways to write 75 cents. Okay, I'm going to let you go and you can practice this, but let me do one more here. We started out with 10 quarters. Let's do 9 quarters. Here we have 4 quarters, 4 quarters, and 1 remaining. Do you know how much money this is? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think about that. How much money is 9 quarters? Okay, of course, we could count by 25s and add this up, but we can look at it and see 4 quarters. 4 quarters equals $1. And here's another 4 quarters. That also equals $1. How many dollars do we have? We have $2. Okay, that's my hundreds place. I have $2. And then how many cents do I have left? 25, right? So how much money is 9 quarters? It is $2.25. And so you can add lots of quarters this way. You can group them together in 4s, figure out how many dollars you have, and then add the cents that are left. Or of course, you can count by 25s.